start. Okay, is the volume all right? You can hear me okay? Yeah? Excellent. Actually, I'm just going to quickly, where's that device? Oh dear. Oh, there it is. Sorry, guys. Just sit down because I'm cutting the top of my head off. Oh. Good. Okay, that's better. Let me see. All right. So let us start in standing. Hey, Joe. Oh, I'm going to mute you, otherwise it's going to pick you up. Nice to see you. Let's start in standing. And let's just do a 30-second check-in. Let's just take a moment to notice how we're feeling tonight and get out of our thoughts and start to check in on how our body's feeling, so we can observe weight distribution and how does it feel to take a deep breath, any areas of tension present. What is it you're noticing? Here we go. 3, 2, 1. Okay, we are just taking a moment to notice how we're feeling. So we're trying to get out of our thoughts and connect to our body. Let's bring our focus back to the room. We're going to start, so grab your spiky ball or your tennis ball, and we're going to do some work with our feet to begin with. So before you start, just notice how your feet feel. Have you got an awareness that you've got more weight into the front of them or the back of your heels, or more weight into one foot than the other? Just what do you observe? And then we're going to start just with, let's start with our right foot. So we're going to roll from toe to heel, and if you've got a spiky ball or a tennis ball or a soccer ball, you don't have any of those things, like even like a rolling pin from your kitchen, obviously, give it a whirl, that'd be quite good. So just rolling from toe to heel, and this would totally personal preference, put as much weight or as little weight into it as you wish. And just stay on the one foot for now. So if you find any areas that feel a little bit ouchy, sometimes like in the arch of the foot, can be a bit tender. You just get into there a little bit more, give a little twist with the foot, with the ankle or the ball. Okay. Rolling, let's just do a couple more times there. And then we're going to keep the same foot on the ball. You're going to have the toes connected to the ball with your heel on the mat. And then we're just going to take a little step forward with the opposite foot. And then tucking the tail under a little bit. So you should be feeling a bit of a stretch through the quads now. Not the quads, the calves. Through the calf. You might even feel it through up into the back of the thigh, into the hamstring as well. Let's just breathe into that. A nice one, just to lengthen a little bit the calves, help us to have a longer leg in the saddle. Okay, and then let's just step off the ball and let's just take a moment to compare now. So this is all built in this practice of getting better at awareness of our body. So maybe notice, what do you feel? Does it feel like you've got a longer leg maybe on that side? Maybe you've got more surface area, more connection to the floor. Okay, let's go to the other side. And let's roll through the feet. So a really nice one. we really know about the importance of foot balance for our awesome body, but we tend to not really think about it much for ourselves. And whatever is going on in our feet is going to flow all the way up into our knees, into our hips, and affect even the shoulders. So even just spending a little time each day rolling your feet can go a long way to helping the whole system. It's a nice one to feel a bit more grounded and relaxed and have a long walk. Then we're gonna keep the toes on the wall, heel on the floor, step forward with the opposite foot. Tuck the tail a little under. Lifting your pubic bone up towards the ceiling, and you should be getting a stretch into that calf. And you might have noticed even just doing this, one calf is much tighter than the other side. That would be causing a little bit of that leg not feeling as long in the stirrup. Let's just breathe into that bone. Nice. Very good. Okay, and then let's just step off that ball and take a moment to notice how your feet feel now compared to when you started, and how that affects, the whole body. You might feel a change throughout the whole of that. Okay, let's take a nice inhale, and we're going to take the arms up overhead, take your eyes up to the ceiling, open and lift that chest. Take a nice deep breath here. And then on your exhale, you're going to start to nod your chin towards your chest, take your arms with you, and we're going to peel ourselves down. It's almost like our spine is like sticky tape on the wall, and you're peeling a little bit, and we can just bring the pills, peel down, stop knees, and allow your head to hang heavy there. You're just noticing, where do you get to today? Let's take a nice deep breath in, your shoulders nice and relaxed. And then we're going to start to rebuild our spine. So it's like we're incrementally stacking those curls one at a time on top of each other. We come all the way back up to standing. We're going to open the chest, take a nice inhale, take those arms up to the ceiling, palms facing, take your eyes to. So we're really opening the front of the body where we tend to all be quite short and tight. And then start to take the head down, peeling the spine. We've got more than 100 joints in our spine. And we know that healthy joints need movement. So the more movement we can give to our back, the healthier our back is going to be. Your head heavy at the bottom here. And then breathe down slowly along the spine. Sticking tight, being pushed back onto the wall. The curls being balanced. And then let's shoulders and body. We're going to do a little bit of movement with the arms now. So, hip joints. I want you all to tap on the side of your knee up the side of your thigh. We're going to tap, 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 and it should feel, depending on how much flesh you've got there, but it should feel a little bit spongy, spongy, spongy. And then you'll get roughly kind of in line with your pubic bone, you'll get to a point where it feels like you've got a bit more resistance. So we're roughly there on what's called the greater trochanter, the outside of the thigh bone. So I'm going to get you to put your thumbs there. And then you're going to wrap your hand around the front into kind of your nipple crease. Now, wherever your index fingers kind of get to there, so roughly halfway, maybe a little bit closer to your pubic bone, is approximately the location of the hip joint. Most people tend to think that it's out here, but it's much more central to the body than many, many, many people believe. So we're going to just do some little pelvic tilts now. So take your feet a little wider than hip distance apart. We're going to have soft knees. And all we're going to do is imagine that our pelvis is like a bowl of water. And we're going to tip a little bit out the back of the bowl. So we come into the posterior tilt. And then we're going to tip a little bit out the front of the bowl. We're coming to an anterior tilt. So as we kind of come into posterior tilt, flatten into the lower back or round. And then as we tip the water out the front, we follow. So let's just move between these two, noticing how it feels. So we're just kind of really like building a bit of awareness, first of all. It's like, where do we tend to live? Is this our pelvic posture, or is here, or are we in a bit more of a neutral zone? But we know that this is going to completely change how we can sit in balance in the saddle, depending on what our pelvis is doing. And if we've got kind of more of a preference in one direction than the other, that's also going to show up in the saddle as well. So just building this awareness. Okay. And then let's just settle in the middle where we feel. Neither to forward or back. And compare that to, straighten your legs, soft knee. How is that feeling compared to when you first started? Is it different? Okay. All right. We're going to do a little bit of movement for the rib cage now. So I want you to imagine that your chest is like a pair of headlights. And we're going to leave the pelvis where it is. And we're going to put the headlights on dazzle, like you're shining them right up to the ceiling, and notice how you follow your back there. And then you're going to dip those headlights down to the floor. And then you're rounding into your upper left. Let's just go again between these two. Dazzle those headlights and dip those headlights. Dazzle and dip. Again, just starting to put in a little bit more awareness of, maybe where we tend to be. So many of us tend to be more here, don't we? We're looking at phones, we're on a computer or whatever. So just thinking about where your headlights are when you're riding can really, really help you. And then let's settle where we feel like our headlights are neither dazzling or dipped, they're in neutral, and notice what that does for your posture there. And lastly here, we're going to take the arms out to the sides. We're going to see if we can leave the pelvis where it is. I'm going to try and keep the shoulders level as we think about sliding our ribs left and right. So this one can require a bit of practice. Often people want to collapse a little through the sides of the waist. So we can keep even through the waist. And keep the shoulders parallel to the pelvis. And take your ribs left and right. So as you slide your ribs left and right, I just want you to start to check in and notice what's happening in your feet as you do this. Get a sense of a little bit more weight into one foot as you slide your ribs side to side. So this is a great exercise to practice because, first of all, awareness of maybe you're a little bit stuck in one direction than the other. But also, it's a good one to be able to do in the saddle because we can create a different weight change. So a couple more here, left and right. And let's settle back a little bit. Well done. Okay, you're going to take a step forward with the left foot, split stance, take the arms out in front. You're going to leave the pelvis where it is, so almost like the little lights out the front of those hip sockets. Going to stay shining straight ahead, and then we're going to start to rotate the upper body, following with your eyes, taking the hand behind you. Don't let your pelvis shift and follow with you, almost like you're trying to move your pelvis in the opposite rotation. And take a nice big deep breath here. And return your arm. And then let's switch sides, bring that leg in, step forward with the opposite leg, arms out in front of you, knees are soft, and we're leaving the pelvis where it is as we rotate the ribs. Whole spine is going, the head and neck, eyes are following. And nice deep breath there. And step the leg back in. Let's do the other side one more time. So split stance, arms out in front of you. So this is a really good exercise. So most riders have trouble dissociating the pelvis with the ribs. So when you move the pelvis, when you move the ribs, the pelvis follows. And then what happens is we kind of give an unintentional weight aid in the saddle. So we're kind of like, why is my horse going, in the direction that I don't want to go in, or drifting or falling in? And that's probably because we need to inadvertently. So that's building this ability to have the pelvis going in one direction while the ribs are going in the other is really important for riding good turns and circles. Let's just do one more each side. So being able to follow the horse properly on a turn, on a circle, without creating a weight shift that we perhaps don't want to do. It seems really, really basic exercise, but it's amazing, simple is often, the things we need to practice most, isn't it? Like with our horses doing the basics. All right, let's stand at the back of the mat. Oopsie. And we're going to roll down off that chin to chest, easy front, feeling down, going forward. And then you would again those knees, take that hands to the floor and walk your hands out until you come onto all fours. And then from here, we are going to take the pelvis forward towards the floor. And we're going to take the chest and the eyes up towards the ceiling. Shoulder blades are kind of drawing back towards your back pockets. Nice open from the front of the chest again. That's a good exercise to help us sit taller than the front of the. And then we're going to push our bottom back towards our heels now. Bring those fingers away from you. Eyes are looking towards your toes. Get a nice stretch. And then let's come forward again. And then what we're going to do is we're going to sweep our bottom around in a big circle. So you're going to come forward, and then you're going to stop as big as you possibly can. So your whole spine is now going to follow your pelvis. Pointing it around, so really mobilizing these hips and mobilizing the spine. Let's do a couple of circles in one direction. And then let's change direction, change the lane, and sweep the bottom around in the other direction. Well done. Two more circles here. And then we're going to settle back in the middle. So we want to have our wrists under our shoulders. Make sure that you're not sinking your chest down. So really push through the heels of the hands. If you've got issues with your wrist, what you can do is just roll the front of your mat, or you can grab a little towel and just rest your heels of your hands on the mat with the fingers on the floor. So you're just taking a little bit of angle out of that wrist flexion now, okay? So we're in 4-point kneeling here. We're really going to lift the chest up away from the floor. And the back of your neck, it's almost like we are the baby kitten cat, and mummy cat is picking us up. So we're kind of lengthening the back of the neck towards the ceiling. So it's almost like you've got a, can you imagine lengthening the crown of your head away from the tailbone here? And then from here, we are going to extend the right foot, keep the toes on the floor, and then we're going to lift it to neutral. I don't want you to lift it so high that you feel your lower back move. Just lift into neutral and then bring that leg back in. Extend to the opposite leg. Heels down, as if we've got our heels down. And then lift that leg. Lower the leg and switch. Let's just do this a couple of times. And what we're really aiming for here is, can we move the leg without anything else being disturbed? So there's no shifting happening in the pelvis, side to side, or it's very minimal. And there's no movement happening in the lower back, because we're literally just moving that hip in the hip joint. And we really want to get good at this, because this is where we can start to use our leg aids with more precision and less disturbance in the rest of the body. So still strong through the shoulders, pushing the ground away from us. Make sure that you're not lowering your neck and not poking your chin. Couple more, well done. Even just lift your neck a little up towards the ceiling a little bit more. Yeah, well done there. Good. Good. Now we're going to add in the arms. So we're going to extend the leg and float the leg, and then we're going to reach the opposite arm away from us. So what I want you to think about is, you've got a little torchlight out the front of that hip joint, and it's going to stay shining towards the floor, and somebody is pulling your fingers and your toes in opposition. And you think a little bit about drawing your belly button in. So I would never ever cue belly button in the saddle, but I just want to make sure that you're not, arching into your lower back, that you're really thinking about extending your body away from the floor. Okay? And switching sides, opposite arm and leg. And could we imagine we've got a cross that goes from your shoulder to the opposite bottom cheek, and those crosses are staying equal in length as you switch sides. But this exercise is so good for us riders to help us develop strength in what's called posterior oblique swing, which helps us to keep the ribs nice and stacked in the pelvis. Well done. Okay, last one there. We are going to come onto our back now. So just go and sit down on your bottom, and then onto your back. Very good. Okay. So we're going to have knees bent, feet flat on the floor. Arms down by your sides. Now, if you feel like your chin is kind of really poking up to the ceiling here, then you can grab yourself a little head support. If you've got a ponytail in, then you can almost kind of like just balance on a little hair tie there, and that will help you a little bit. Let's have the feet together, and then we're going to open the toes and bring the heels in line, so that our legs are roughly about hip distance apart. And then from here, we're going to come into a bridge. So what we're going to do, we're going to imagine we've got a little marble on our pubic bone, and we're going to roll that marble in towards your belly button, so you flatten your back into the mat. And then can we imagine that we're pulling the front of the body little bit by little bit, like that spine is like a string of pearls, and we're peeling it little bit by little bit until we come into what's called a bridge position. So we've got the knees, the hips, and then the shoulders. So just be mindful that you don't come too far, so that then you flare the front of the ribs and hollow your lower back. So we're going to keep the back relatively soft. Okay. And then we're going to peel ourselves back down. So we're going to think we're going to sink the breastbone first. And then we start to place one little spinous process, one little vertebra of your spine, like a string of pearls, bone by bone, slowly sending the middle of the spine down, and then finally returning your pelvis to the start position. Okay, Going to do a few more on these. Arms can be down by your sides. If you want it to be a little bit more challenging, you can have the palms facing and fingertips up to the ceiling. Rolling that measurement marble into the belly, flattening your back into the mat, and then keep healing yourself up a little bit by little bit. Make sure that your feet, big toe, little toe heel, are still flat on the mat. And as you get to the top of your movement, it's almost like your knees have got little magnets on them, suctioning your thigh bone to the other side of the room. And your glutes are squeezing together. And then we're going to sink the breastbone and heel ourselves down and little bottom by little bottom by little bottom. Good job. Please start with that in your own time. So this exercise is a really, really great one to write because, first of all, that first little movement that we make as we roll that marble into our tummy is the first little step that we would initiate for a heart plot. But then it's also helping us to get that movement in all those joints in our spine. We're really challenging the glutes and the back of the body, which is going to help us to sit taller and to be able to use our legs more effectively. And we're really opening the front of the body, which again, breaks that posture, especially if we're sitting at a desk all day. I think just cleaning myself up. When you think about the knees being suction, squeezing the bones together. Inhale. Last one there. So these might feel easy to you, they might feel challenging. Just starting to pattern these movements, and we're progressively going to add on challenges as we go through the next. Okay. And then let's settle our pelvis back on the mat. So we're neither flattening the back in the mat or hollowing away. It's almost like we've got a little space for a little ant to crawl through the back of the back and small of the back. Okay. All right. From here, we are going to float one leg into what's called tabletop position. So your hip is at 90, it's as if the lower leg is parallel to the floor. And you're going to lower that leg back down. And then we're going to float the opposite leg into tabletop position. And you're going to float that leg back down. Okay, let's just keep going with that. I'm just going to back it like this. Float the leg. Float the leg. Switch sides. So again, this, it's a simple exercise, but as you float each leg, can you do it without anything else being disturbed? So your pelvis is rocking side to side as you lift the opposite leg. It's literally just the hip is rolling back in the socket to move the leg. It's no shifting from the pelvis. I'll put it on like that. And then on the next float, you're going to float one leg, keep it there, and then bring the other leg up to meet it. Arms down by the sides. So now we're going to be getting into a little bit more abdominal work here. So I want to make sure when you've got your legs in this position, and as you take the legs to the floor, that your pelvis doesn't rock into that anterior tilt. So aiming to keep that little ant house under your small back. Or if that's too much strain on your abdominals, you can roll that imaginary marble from your pubic onto your belly button and flatten your back into the mat. From here, we're going to dip one toe to the floor and then dip the opposite foot. So it's like your mat is now a bath of water. You're just going to dip the toe in and test the temperature of the water and then switch sides. You still should be feeling like there's a little bit, we're warming up the abdominal muscles now. Again, it's really only that that's moving. Pelvis is staying where it is. Lower back is staying where it is. Alternating sides. Two more. 1, 2, and you can have those knees into your chest. And then float the leg one at a time back to the left. Hold on. Rolling onto our right side. We're going to do 2 more exercises. I don't want to keep you for 45 minutes like I did last night. Okay, we're going to be side lying onto our right side. And we're going to have hips stacked, shoulders stacked. And I want you to bring your knees so that they are out in front of your waist. And your lower leg is going to be parallel to the front of the mat. Okay? From here, we are going to think about lengthening the top of your waist. So if you've got your right side down on the floor, the left side of your waist, open that space between your last rib and the top of the pelvis. So when you look at your top leg, it's going to be, your knee is going to be in advance of the bottom knee. Okay? Can you also imagine now you have got a candle, a little tea light burning underneath the side of your waist close to the mat. So you're going to lift it a little bit away from the mat, okay? So we're activating the core. Then from here, we are going to squeeze the heels together. And can you get a sense of the muscles in your butt start to activate? And then all we're going to do is open the top knee, whilst still thinking about keeping that length through the side of the waist, and the knee lengthening away from you, and then lower the leg back down. So we're going to lift to the count of 3, like we're moving through a sticky toppy resistance, and we're lengthening out of the knee, lengthening out of the side of the waist, keeping your T-light away from your shirt, and then lower the 3. Lifting 3, 1, 2, 3, and lower 3. So you should start to feel these butt muscles working. If you don't, I want you to wait for me to end and let me know. Squeeze those heels. Really thinking about that knee as you lift. And let's do 2 more. 1, 2 on the last one, you're going to keep the knee open, and now we're going to do 10 little pulses up to the ceiling. So 10, 9, 8, 7. Keep that T-light. Don't burn your shirt. Keep lengthening out of your waist. 5, 4. We've done about 20. We'll get to know that I can't count. 2 and 1. Well done. Okay, let's switch sides. Come onto your left side. And so you've got your head resting on your arm. And we're going to have knees out in front of our chest, lower leg parallel to the floor. We've got our little T-light, so we've lifted our waist. We're lengthening the side of the waist that's closest to the ceiling, so that we've got the knee in advance of the bottom knee. Squeeze those heels, and then lifting for 3, 1, 2, 3. Lower, 1, 2, 3. Moving through the resistance. You can lengthen out of that knee. Keep the waist lifted close to the mat. Targeting these pelvic stabilizers. We've got 6 more like this to do here. 1, 2, 1 to left, 2, 1 to left, 1, 2, 1 to left, 1, 2, 1 to left, 1, 2, 1 to left, and last one here, and the last one, keeping that knee lifted. Pulsing up for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Well done. Okay, we are going to finish with our little spiky ball or your tennis ball. Come onto your back. And knees going to be flat on the floor. So what we're going to do, you know, when we found that greater trochanter, you're going to tap up the side of the thigh again and find that where it feels a bit more resistance. And then what I want you to do is think about a bit of a diagonal line from there to the bottom of your butt crack, to put it politely. And we're going to place the ball, and then you're going to, so it's going to be, you know, just behind the greater trochanter, you're going to into the fleshy part of your butt. And then you're going to bring your feet together and you're going to take your knees over to that side. So we might find some tender spots. If you find something that's like, holy mother of you know what, that's too much, then just move it a little away. But if you feel like you've got a brace against this, what I want you to do is simply sink your body into the floor and you give your body permission to let go. If you're there and it's like, yeah, I could lie here all day, so it doesn't bother me at all, I want you just to start incrementally moving the ball on that line towards your butt crack, okay? And then same thing, taking the knees over to that same side, so just getting a bit more weight into it. With these kind of exercises with the ball work, with the self kind of massage stuff, you want to feel like any tension releases within about 45 seconds. If it ever feels like it gets more intense, move on. And move on one more time. And nice. Relaxing into that. I know you're like relaxing. Okay, and then take the ball away. And before we do the other side, let's just even compare there. You know, your lower back and your butt on that side. It might feel quite different. And then let's do the other side. The chances are with this, you're going to experience like one side feels much more tender than the other. So these muscles that we're targeting here are the ones that externally rotate the hip. So if those muscles are a bit shorter or tighter, and they can be tight and weak as well. On that side, you're going to feel like your knee is a little bit further away from the saddle, and maybe your toe turns out on that side as well. Searching for those little tight knotty spots. Now, depending on the firmness of your spiky ball or the tennis ball as well, obviously that's going to, you know, impact how strong this is. Yeah, listen to your own body always. And then let's just take that all away. Take a moment to just how your back feels on the mat now. And then let's just extend the left leg, grab a hold of the back of your thigh, lengthen your right leg along the floor, and we're going to swing ourselves up to sitting. And give yourselves a little pat because we're finished. Well done. On overtime again. Remember to stop the